I'm Josh Walworth from PC Perspective. Today we have an interview with a fellow from ARM who's calling us all the way from England. His name? Well, I'll let him introduce himself. Please tell us your name, your position, and how long you've been with ARM.
Hi, I'm Nizar Romdhane. I'm Director of Ecosystem for the Media Processing Division in ARM, and I've been with ARM for a little bit more than 7 years.
So you've been there since really they started growing in the mobile industry. Certainly, ARM wasn't a common name until about 5 years ago, and we really probably started to hear more about you when Apple introduced the iPhone. A more interactive type smartphone that we have seen. Uh, where did you start off with ARM?
So when I joined, I was in the tools division, so division called System Design Division, and I was responsible for tools to design processors and systems for mobile phones or other applications. And then moved on to become responsible for tools for graphics when we started doing GPUs. So we started the media processing division. And after that, I started looking after all the graphics ecosystem around our family of GPUs, the Mali family of GPUs.
Okay. What can you tell us about Mali on the hardware side? We know that that certainly its capabilities are interesting, but we don't know a whole lot of the deeper aspects of the product, such as hardware and vertex shaders, pixel shaders. What kind of parts that do you find interesting and comparable to other products on the market?
So our family of Mali GPUs are based on what we call the tile-based renderers. So the screen is split into different tiles, and then each tile is rendered independently on the GPU. So this technique is very well adapted for mobile devices because the biggest challenge in mobile devices actually is the availability of memory bandwidth, unlike what you have maybe in console and PC. So tile-based renders are very efficient from a memory bandwidth perspective. With the Mali family of GPUs, so the previous generation, which is Mali 400 generation, what we call UtGuard, was based on a separate shader architecture. So we had the vertex core or shader separate from the fragment shader. And Mali 400, for example, can be configured to have up to 4 fragment shaders. With the latest generation of the Mali GPUs, what we call the Midgard architecture, we moved to a unified shader architecture. So the shader can do both vertex processing or fragment processing, as well as it can be used for GPU computes that can do also kernels like OpenCL kernels. And again, the GPUs can be configured to have more than one core. So the Mali T604, for example, which is available in the Nexus 10, can be configured to have up to 4 cores. And actually, the configuration in the Nexus 10 has a Mali T604 with 4 cores. But with other GPUs like the Mali T628, which is the GPU after the Mali T604, the GPU can be configured to have up to 8 cores. The cache also in the Mali GPUs is configurable. So it is actually a highly configurable GPU, you can say.
Well, it sounds like the modularity of the product is pretty impressive, especially if you can extend the architecture out with that many cores, adjustable cache, and whatnot. Going on to the next question, how important do you view OpenGL ES 3.0? And even though no current apps really support it, and probably won't for another year or two, what do you foresee for this standard in the years to come?
So OpenGL ES 3.0 is an evolution compared to OpenGL ES 2.0, and it brings a lot of added benefits. ranging from new functionalities, new capabilities that are not available in OpenGL 2.0. An example is, for example, 3D textures. So with OpenGL 3.0, game developers can use 3D textures, but also to introduces features for efficiency. So doing the same thing that maybe you can do with OpenGL 2.0, but do it more efficiently. So saving more memory bandwidth, saving more power consumption. We see OpenGL 3.0 adoption starting. So within the Mali ecosystem, we work with the game engine providers like Unity, like Epic. We work also with the game studios, whether the large game studios like Electronic Arts, or Gameloft, or smaller game studios like, for example, Fish Labs or Digital Legends. And we are introducing OpenGL 3.0 to these game engine and middleware providers or game studios. So across this year, you're going to see these players introduce and support OpenGL 3.0. Probably it will start with demos across the year. Maybe mid through the year, you will see OpenGL 3.0 demos by the game engine providers, the middleware providers. And then probably towards the end of the year, or maybe early next year, you will start seeing the first OpenGL 3.0 games. The adoption, of course, takes time, like any version of the API, but we see an excitement within the industry for this new version of the API because of the new features it adds, and also because of the efficiency as well that it will enable.
Very nice. Are you guys part of the Khronos group, and do you have any say in the features and design aspects that will go into not only just OpenGL ES 3.0, but later iterations?
Yes, absolutely. ARM is a member of Khronos, and we have been a member since the early days. We are involved also in the working groups, especially the OpenGL ES working group. And here, actually, the chair of the OpenGL ES working group, Tom Olsen, is an employee of ARM. He's the director of graphics within ARM. We have also a lot of representatives either in OpenGL ES working group in other working groups like the OpenGL, so the bigger brother to OpenGL ES version working group, like, for example, Dave Schreiner, who is also a known name in the industry. So Dave is very active in the OpenGL working group. We have also active members in the OpenCL working group, for example, and other working groups. So ARM is part of the Khronos consortium, and ARM is very active within this consortium, driving the next generation of the OpenGL ES API, or also other APIs like OpenCL and OpenGL.
Going along that line of what you guys are into, what kind of say do you have in with, say, DirectX, now that the Windows Phone environment is becoming a little bit more robust, and your products will eventually be appearing, and if they're not already in there, with the Windows Phone products, what kind of weight do you have with Microsoft? Where do you want to see that go? I mean, currently, DirectX 9.3 is the latest kind of mobile version of DirectX that we are seeing. What can you add to that?
So with our new generation of Mali, the Mali T600, or what we refer to with Midgard, we support a wide range of APIs, including DirectX. So with the Mali T600 series, we have support for DirectX 9, DirectX 10, and DirectX 11. We are working on the drivers for these APIs, which will become available to our customers later through the year. You will have to wait for probably more to see any implementation. That will depend on whether Microsoft will consider other silicon vendors for the Windows program, and whether our customers will decide to go and implement products for Windows. But from our perspective, the Mali GPUs support DirectX, and ARM has a strong relationship with Microsoft, which is probably becoming more obvious with the support that Microsoft is having for the ARM architecture. So,
what do you think of? Well, Go ahead.
No, go ahead. So we are ready for DirectX with our GPU product lines.
Okay. So apparently your products can run perfectly fine on say Windows RT.
So the Mali GPUs, we are working, of course, on DirectX drivers, which means that they will be used, probably they will be used with the Windows RT version. There aren't any product yet with Mali GPUs using Windows RT, but we're certainly working on ensuring that our drivers will work fine on that platform. So if any customer decides to use them, then we expect that to provide great experience and great performance.
Okay. Well, going back to the Khronos group, can you tell us a little bit about your OpenCL support and what kind of features do you think that type of support will really bring to a mobile phone or tablets that will feature the latest Mali 604 products?
Yeah, so regarding OpenCL, we believe, unique in the mobile game industry because we have decided to support the full profile of OpenCL 1.1. That's the third version we support currently with Mali 604. And we believe that that will bring a lot of benefits to mobile devices. The applications that can benefit from GPU compute are quite a lot. Computational photography is one of them, which is enhancing the camera experience, for example, in a smartphone. Image processing is another use case. And we see this use case potentially important, for example, for tablets where you want to be able to edit your photos, apply filters like you do on your laptops, and maybe upload to social media websites. GPU compute enables also computer vision-based applications. So it will be possible to do, for example, gesture recognition, augmented reality in a more efficient way because the algorithms used in these two applications are well suited for GPU compute and OpenCL. We see also video processing, post-processing, pre-processing, suitable use case for OpenCL on Mali 604, as well as even implementing some codecs on top of GPUs. So we are working now with a lot of partners within the ecosystem around these use cases to enable applications to leverage OpenCL profile for better experience on mobile devices. Gaming is potentially also a use case that could benefit from GPU compute. Today, it is true that gaming is using the GPU in mobile devices quite heavily, but for certain category of games that are based more on physics rather on heavy graphics workloads, then physics is also a use case that could benefit from GPU compute and OpenCL, and using physics with OpenCL on the Mali GPUs could provide a better experience and games that provide much better gameplay and more realistic physics. So the applications are quite a lot, and we see now the industry moving towards adopting these. As I said, a lot of partners are working with us in that sense, but we see strong interest from the chip manufacturers, from the OEMs, who are all committed to introducing more features and capabilities in their devices using OpenCL and GPU compute and our GPUs.
Very nice. What specific targets of performance and resolution are you aiming for in the next few years? And also, what are some of the max features of the current 604? I mean, it can support the 4K resolution, correct?
Yes, Mali 604 is more than capable to support 4K. We have support already to 2.5K, so the Nexus 10, which is Mali 604, is using 2.5K resolution. Mali 604 and Mali 600 are ready for 4K. So any OEM or any chip manufacturer can introduce support to devices with that resolution. And we think that by probably towards the end of the year or early next year, you'll start seeing devices at that resolution.
Very nice. What are you doing to make mobile content more and mobile content and applications and games more immersive for the average user, especially if they're typically just using it in a tablet or a handheld device?
So we are doing various things. So from a technology perspective, we design, we believe, the best GPUs for mobile and embedded today. So that's allowing these games to have more capability and more performance. But also we do things with the ecosystem, so to help the game developers to make the best of the capabilities that we are putting in the GPUs. We do that through a developer outreach program. So we have a website called malideveloper.arm.com to reach out to the game developers. We give the developers free resources, including tools, SDKs, examples, documentation. We give them access to the latest hardware. So whether it is early development boards or information about what devices use the Mali GPU. And then we are involved in a lot of conferences and game developer events to educate and give the best practices on the Mali GPUs. And the perfect example actually is next week, where we'll be at the Game Developer Conference in the Moscone Center in San Francisco, where we will be having 5 sponsored sessions. So 4 of them are technical talks, and one is a panel, as well as on the ARM booth, we will have a lecture theater with presentations every 30 minutes, whether they are presentations provided by the ARM technical experts or presentations from our gaming partners. To name a few, Epic Games will be given a talk, Marmalade will be given a talk, Geomerics, Clever Light, and then Middleware will be given a talk. So again, by educating and explaining how to achieve the best on the GPUs, also we help the gaming ecosystem.
What kind of growth potential do you see for mobile gaming in 2013? And also, would you even consider doing something like an ARM software marketplace, much as like Apple and Google have done throughout the years? Would that be beneficial to you guys to set up your own area where you can get a greater selection of mobile software, mobile games to run not just on Mali but any ARM-enabled device?
So to answer maybe your first question, we think that this year will be definitely the year when mobile gaming will become mainstream, and maybe other gaming will become a bit niche or maybe underground. Mobile gaming, of course, is enabled with a huge opportunity around smartphones and tablets. Last year, 650 million smartphones were sold. This year, 1 billion smartphones are expected to be sold, so that's potentially 1 billion gaming device. So 2013 will be the year where mobile gaming will become really mainstream. You asked about, app stores. Today our strategy is to provide the GPUs, provide processors and technology for semiconductor for chip manufacturers, complementing that with some software products like drivers, like libraries. If the market needs will require us to do things differently and provide more solutions, that's something that ARM is constantly looking at. No plans to do anything different yet, but that's something that the ARM strategy team is looking at. And again, anything that we can do to help the gaming ecosystem, we'll be looking at that. And for the time being, we are mainly providing building blocks for chip manufacturers.
I see. Well, what about things like telepresence, low-power video streaming? Are the adoption of applications like this more to do with bandwidth that the typical user has, or can the Mali GPU help with the situation by decoding and encoding these streams of video?
So video telecommunication or teleconferencing is again a use case that could benefit from GPU compute and OpenCL. We are starting talking to some players in that space who believe that could help. So we think that it could help from two perspectives by improving the processing capabilities of these mobile devices and potentially also reduce the required bandwidth that is required to transmit this data. So we are at an early stage with the work we're doing with these partners. So a lot of promising perspective, but across this year we'll be able to have more concrete results and proof points to what can be enhanced using the Mali GPU. But we believe that around the computation on the device itself, we could bring a lot of benefits. Bandwidth will remain a challenge, so reducing also the required bandwidth will be something that could help the experience really a lot.
Okay. What kind of cadence do you see in terms of releases of new architectures, especially in the graphics? I mean, with the PC, we have seen NVIDIA, AMD, and others release new architectures every 2 to 3 years, depending on process technology. What do you see ARM doing in terms of adopting a more aggressive cadence with your releases, or do you believe where you're at right now, and every couple of years, is that good enough for you, or do you see things accelerating from here on out?
So we think that actually we within mobile is outpacing Moore's law. We are enabling what we call from superphone to mass market smartphone in 2 years. So actually, with GPUs, we introduce a new GPU each year, and with the capability and the cadence at which we move, both from our GPU side of things, but also from the CPU side of things, we enable our partners and customers to go and take a high-end smartphone, for example, of this year, to become the entry-level smartphone in 2 years' time. So the high-end smartphone becomes mid-range the year after, and then becomes low-end or entry-level smartphone the year after that. So we think with we have a much more, if you can say, fast cadence compared to traditional segments. From this perspective, we believe mobile will catch up quite quickly with traditional segments, like you mentioned, PCs or consoles.
Yeah, well, certainly in the past 3 years, we've seen a massive growth in the graphics capabilities of all the mobile products. So it's exciting to hear, at least for me, that you guys have already adopted a unified shader architecture, that you're looking more to the future in terms of OpenCL and direct compute. Do you have any of the closing words you'd like to say about Mali and what you hope it does for the marketplace?
Yeah, so I can only reiterate. I mean, the message we go with to our customers or to the ecosystem overall. We have an amazing momentum now with the Mali GPUs. We are number one GPU in smart TVs, more than 70% of market share there. We have 20% market share in Android smartphones. We are number one in Android tablets, 50% of market share for Android tablets, and we are certainly working on increasing that market share. We are bringing in new capabilities and features to these devices, not only on the graphics front with the latest generation of OpenGL ES 3.0, but bringing new capabilities and features like OpenCL and GPU compute. And we are certainly going to do more on that front by bringing new capabilities and more performance and more power efficiency. But as well, work with the ecosystem, work with the game developers, with the community to educate them on the best practices on our GPUs and give them the resources like tools and documentation to help them achieving that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Nizar. We appreciate your time, and certainly we look forward to talking more to you guys about the future of things like HSA, more multi-core
Yeah,
products.
thanks a lot for your time. It was a pleasure for me as well.
All right. Well, you have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.